Here at the On3 NIL Elite Series, and we are sitting down with five-star edge Colin Simmons, the #1 edge in the country. Colin, you've taken a lot of visits. What has stood out to you so far? What have you seen that you really liked?
Everything, honestly, everything. Every visit I done been on, I liked it. I loved it, honestly.
What are some of the places that stood out to you?
LSU, Miami, Florida, Texas, just a couple of schools out there. Oregon. I feel like Oregon, LSU stood out a lot.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Man, I saw the pictures from the LSU visit. You're on the sideline with Angel Reese. You're with Jamar Chase. I mean,
Joe Burrow.
it was like the red carpet during a spring game. It looked unbelievable. Did that move LSU up to like that top tier for you when it comes to picking schools?
I mean, not necessarily like bringing them people out necessarily moved them up, but like I feel like LSU always, been up there.
A lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of reporters like myself, when it comes to your recruitment, you hear the word Texas, you hear LSU. You didn't hear a lot about the Florida schools until you started making trips there. What was it about the University of Florida and University of Miami that stood out to you?
The University of Florida, honestly, the atmosphere, like the fans and the people there is just DJ Lagway was not lying when he told me like the fan base is like crazy. Like they love the athletes there, bro. And it's just like I love that. I mean, I love being around people that love athletes, like that show love to athletes because that just means that you care. So I mean that, and then Miami, the environment in Miami, I love it. I mean the landscape, everything, it was just amazing.
Does it hit a little different when you hear it from a guy like a DJ Lagway who's also from Texas and is making the move to the state of Florida?
Oh yeah, for sure. That just speaks a lot. That speaks a lot.
You mentioned, having it matter to a fan base, both Texas and Texas A&M. I mean, I'm sure, Colin, as you know, it matters to those fan bases. They love their football teams. Where do they stand right now in your recruitment, and what are your thoughts around, potentially getting back there for some visits?
Texas, I'll tell you this, Texas for sure up there. Texas for sure up there. Texas A&M for sure up there too. They'll both be receiving the OV, and just staying in-state. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, being close to family. I mean, look, I love it.
Is there any pressure around that, to having to stay, in the Lone Star State? Do you feel pressure around that at all?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people pressure me, people who's friends with my mom and, with the rest of my family, coworkers and all that, they pressure me to stay in state, alums and stuff like that. And,
I know you have a lot of pressure on you. Do you ever think that, hey, maybe if I eliminate some schools and narrow my list, maybe I can get some of these people off me? Do you consider doing that, maybe a top 10, maybe a top 5 before the season starts?
I tell myself I do. I tell myself I want to, I want to go ahead and drop that top 5, top 7 or something like that. But I be thinking like I could just go ahead and find my home and just come out with it, just with a commitment. And I feel like I might just do that.
Okay. What is he like about the Longhorns?
Man, home. I mean, it's home. I mean, my family, people from the DFW that done graduated and that goes there now, Ant Hill, Jonte Cook, Manny, from SOC, and just with me seeing them go up there and doing that they doing as freshmen, it speaks a lot.
Do you have a leader right now? I know it's early. I mean, you've told me you're not going to make a decision until into the fall. So right now, as it stands, do you have a leader?
Texas and LSU head-to-head.
Okay.
It's a fair way to say it. Texas and LSU. You talk about the timeline, talk about the recruitment, the commitment, but we're here at the On3 NIL Elite Series. And for someone like yourself, 5-star plus player, you turn on the tape, it's evident, dude's a baller. NIL has to be a little bit different for someone like yourself. How have you handled that, and how does that look for you being a player of your stature right now?
Honestly, I like to leave it to my mom a little bit, but I like to hear it myself because it sounds good. Like I like to hear the money talk, But I like to leave it to my mom and let her, go ahead handle that business and tell come back to me and tell me, what sounds best.